We went through some pretty rigorous premarital counseling, which I think really set us up for success down the road. I mean, we talked about everything under the sun. There was really no surprises once we got married, which I really recommend to everybody considering getting married, is to talk about everything in advance. It's kind of like you're preparing for this marathon, you need to train for it. Don't train for a 5K if you're about to run a marathon, because it's not going to work. One of the unique challenges we kind of faced was the distance in our premarital counseling, because we were 1,200 miles apart. I was in California and she was in Oklahoma. And so through Dr. Kimberling, we found a really innovative way to kind of do the premarital counseling, where we had booklets that we would talk about during the week, and then 1 or 2 nights a week we would get online and have a kind of a webinar or web conference where we could see each other and talk about what we had discussed that week. And it was really creative for couples who are far apart, but it was great because it was just like being there in person, and it was just as effective. So I think that really set us up for success in a lot of ways. But originally we started out in California, married, away from our family. Our closest family member was 1,200 miles away. And so really it was just us. So we just really had to rely on each other for everything that we needed, and it was a great time just to be away and really go on adventures every weekend and not have any distractions from anybody else. And so I think that really was a great thing to build a long-term foundation and set us up for success down the road.
And I had always, as I was waiting for a husband, a job, everything, I had always learned that you need to have everything right with your relationship with the Lord before He's going to add something in that could distract from Him. And that's, I felt like I was a little bit later when I met Will as my husband, and I thought, it took a while. I was busy with school, friends, you just have a lot going on. And finally, when you just focus and make the Lord number one, I think He provides, and He sees that He can add something else in there. And I think it was the same, with marriage, that we needed to get our relationship right before the Lord wanted us to talk about expanding in a family. And so that being away was great, because it was just totally us. We're both really close with our families. We have a big family and we're very close with them. So it's easy now that we're back to go to birthday parties and sporting events and graduations. But out there, it was us every weekend, every night. If we had a tiff, you don't run off to tell your friends about it or your mom about it. You just have to sit there and work it out. So that was a great foundation before we decided to start a family. Our foundation was solid, our communication is solid. So now, and our relationship with the Lord as a couple has grown. So I feel like we're at that place where we're ready to start a family, and that's kind of how we knew that it was time. We just prayed about it, and I kept telling him that the ball was in his court. I was ready whenever he was, and so whenever he decided that he felt like that God was calling him, we decided to start a family.